Okay, so today we're diving into something that's pretty fundamental, I think, to how we learn,
Mm,
and even more importantly, how we can learn better.
yeah,
We're talking about interactive multimodal learning environments.
right.
So that sounds kind of jargony, but think about it this way.
Yeah.
You've got words, you've got visuals,
Uh-huh.
and you're actually doing something with them, not just passively taking it in.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to explore why that combo words, visuals and action, can be so powerful for really getting things to stick in your brain.
Mm.
And of course, we'll dig into how to make it work for you, like in your own learning or if you're teaching or designing learning experiences.
Yeah, if you're the kind of person who wants to learn new things really well and you
Mhm.
want to do it quickly,
Right.
this is going to be a good one for you.
Yeah, we're going to extract those key insights from the research.
Exactly.
So the heart of this deep dive is a paper that's
Yeah.
from 2007, and it's called Interactive Multimodal Learning Environments
Mm.
by Roxana Moreno and Richard Mayer. And it's not just opinion. It's based on some pretty rigorous evidence about how our minds work.
Yeah, solid research.
So I'm excited to dig in.
Me too. This is a good one.
Yeah, this paper really lays out a roadmap
Mm-hmm.
for how to move beyond just, presenting information
Mm-hmm.
to actually creating learning experiences
Right.
that really help people build their own understanding.
Yeah, like actively constructing knowledge.
Exactly. And to get
Okay.
started, let's just define a few terms really quick, make sure we're all on the same page.
Sounds good.
So first up, you've got mode. And think of this as the type of information you're dealing with.
Okay.
So you've got verbal information, which is, what we're doing right now, spoken words,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be written text.
Yeah, like in a book.
Exactly. And then you've got nonverbal information,
Okay.
which is stuff like pictures, diagrams, videos, animations, all that good stuff.
Right. So the way the information is presented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the next term is modality. And this is about how you receive that information.
Gotcha.
So like what senses are involved.
Yeah.
And most of the time we're talking about auditory modality, meaning what you hear,
Hmm.
and visual modality, meaning what you see.
Right.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Now the third term, this one's super important, interactive.
Okay.
So an interactive learning environment is one that responds to your actions, to what you do.
Like it changes based on your input.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And contrast that with something that's not interactive,
Yeah.
like watching a presentation,
Mm-hmm.
and it just plays out the same way every time.
Right. Or like reading a textbook.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, our goal today is to really unpack how these interactive multimodal combinations of
Mhm.
words, visuals, and your active participation
Mm-hmm.
can be designed to not just give you facts,
Right.
but help you actually build a really solid understanding.
Yeah. Like really get it, not just memorize it.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right, so the paper starts off by making this really important distinction
Okay.
between just acquiring information and actually constructing knowledge.
Yeah, that's a key difference.
It is.
So how do those work differently for us as learners?
Well, the information acquisition view
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like thinking of your brain as a container,
Like a bucket.
Yeah, and learning is just pouring information in.
Right. Just filling it up.
The teacher presents, you passively receive, like a straightforward slideshow, someone talking over it.
Yeah. Like just downloading a file to your computer.
Exactly. But this paper is really championing this idea of knowledge construction.
Yeah. So what's different about that?
Well, knowledge construction sees you as the learner as actively building your own understanding.
Hmm.
You're not just passively receiving.
Right. You're making connections.
You're selecting what seems important, organizing it in your mind,
Uh-huh.
and crucially, you're connecting it to what you already know.
Yeah. Building on what's already there.
It's much more hands-on.
Right. Like actually constructing something.
Exactly. So instead of just watching an animation of how a car engine works,
Okay.
maybe you're clicking on different parts, seeing how they interact.
Yeah, maybe even like troubleshooting a virtual engine problem.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the job of good instruction, in this view,
Mm-hmm.
is to guide you in that process of making sense of things.
Right. Provide support and direction.
And this paper is arguing that interactivity is a really powerful way to do that.
Yeah, to facilitate that deeper level of thinking.
All right, now to really get into the nuts and bolts of this,
Okay.
Moreno and Mayer bring in this framework
Mm-hmm.
called the Cognitive Affective Theory of Learning with Media.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
It is. We'll just call it TCOTL.
TKTLM. All right.
Sounds a little academic, but
Yeah.
what are the key ideas here?
So KTLM basically explains how our brains process information
Mhm.
when we're learning from multimedia, like stuff with visuals and audio.
Okay.
One big idea is that we have different channels for handling different kinds of information.
Like visual stuff goes to one place, auditory to another.
Exactly, like different departments in your brain for different types of input.
That's a good way to think about it.
And another key idea is that each of these channels has limited space.
Hmm.
Our working memory, which is like the mental workspace where we're actively thinking,
Right. Yeah.
can only hold so much at once.
Yeah. Anyone who's tried to multitask knows that feeling.
Exactly. Too much going on, you drop something.
Okay, so what else does this theory say?
Well, it also says that real learning happens when you actively work with the information,
Mm-hmm.
not just passively taking it in.
Right.
You got to select the important parts, organize them in your mind so they make sense,
Uh-huh.
and then connect them to what you already know in your long-term memory.
So it's not just about getting the information in there. It's about what your brain does with it once it's there.
Exactly. It's an active process.
Gotcha.
And CTLM also recognizes that long-term memory isn't just like a static storage unit.
Oh, interesting.
It's constantly being updated and reorganized based on new experiences and learning.
Oh, okay.
And then things like your motivation and how aware you are of your own learning process,
Mm-hmm.
those play a role too.
Yeah.
And finally, what you already know and what skills you have will affect how well you learn with different types of media.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like if you already have some background knowledge.
Exactly. It can make new learning easier.
So it's a pretty comprehensive picture of how learning happens.
Yeah, it covers a lot of bases.
Now, they also talk about cognitive overload,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like, a major roadblock.
Yeah, it can definitely get in the way.
So what is it and how does it mess things up?
Cognitive overload happens when the learning task just throws too much information at you,
Okay.
more than your brain can handle at once.
Like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah, exactly.
Just too much coming in too fast.
Imagine trying to read 2 sets of subtitles on a foreign film at the same time.
Oh, gosh.
And also, pay attention to the action.
Yeah. You're going to miss something.
You're going to miss a lot.
So it's like if the learning environment is poorly designed,
Right.
presents too much stuff too quickly,
Mm-hmm.
your brain just gets overwhelmed and learning suffers.
Yeah, it's like a traffic jam in your head.
So how can bad design actually cause this overload?
Well, that's where these different types of cognitive processing come in.
Okay.
Moreno and Mayer talk about extraneous processing, representational holding, essential processing, and generative processing.
Whoa, lots of processing going on.
Yeah, it's a busy place up there.
All right, so what's extraneous processing?
Extraneous processing is basically wasted brain power.
Okay.
It's mental effort that doesn't actually help you learn the material,
Uh-huh.
and it's often caused by bad design.
Right.
A prime example of this is the split attention effect.
I think I've heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah, it's like when you have a diagram you're trying to understand,
Mm-hmm.
but the explanation for it is on a different page.
Yeah, or even like on a different screen.
So you're constantly having to switch your attention back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
So annoying.
And it wastes mental energy.
Yeah, instead of focusing on the concept, you're just trying to connect the words in the picture.
Exactly. It's inefficient.
So what about representational holding?
That's when you have to keep information in your working memory for too long.
Okay.
Like listening to a long narration before you actually see the visual it's describing.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to hold all those words in your head while waiting for the picture.
And that can be really mentally taxing.
Yeah, it can be.
So those are the kinds of processing we want to minimize.
For sure.
But what about essential processing and generative processing?
Mm-hmm.
Those sound more helpful.
They are. Essential processing is the necessary mental work of picking out the important information
Okay.
from all the stuff you're learning.
Like filtering.
Kind of, but even that filtering can be tough if the material is really complex or totally new to you.
Makes sense.
And then generative processing, this is the gold.
Okay.
This is where the real understanding happens. It's when you're actively trying to make sense of the new information by organizing it in your mind and connecting it to what you already know.
So it's like building a mental model.
Exactly, and that's where deep understanding really takes root.
So the goal of good learning design, especially with interactivity and visuals, is to cut down on that extraneous processing
Right, the wasted effort.
and manage the essential stuff.
Yeah, so you have enough mental space.
So our brains have enough room left for that generative processing.
Exactly, that's where the magic happens.
I like it.
All right, so this brings us to the heart of the paper.
Okay.
The 5 design principles for creating effective, interactive, multimodal learning environments.
All right. Hit me with principle number 1.
Principle number 1 is the guided activity principle.
Guided activity. Okay. What's that all about?
So the big idea here is don't just tell people stuff. And don't just leave them to figure it out completely on their own.
Right.
Students actually learn better when they have some kind of guidance, some kind of pedagogical agent, like a helpful guide who's actively directing their cognitive processes.
So it's like having a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's giving you prompts and support as you learn.
Providing feedback and keeping you on track.
Okay.
And the thinking behind this, based on CATLM, is that this kind of guidance encourages you to actively select the important information, organize it logically, and integrate it with what you already know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that leads to a much deeper understanding than just passively receiving information or trying to figure it out all on your own.
So they've got some evidence for this, right?
Oh, yeah. They talk about this Design a Plant program.
Design a plant.
Yeah, with Herman the Bug.
That sounds kind of fun.
It is. In this program, learners are given these different environmental conditions.
Okay.
And they have to design a plant that can thrive in those conditions.
Like choosing the right roots and leaves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Choosing the right roots, stems, leaves, all of that. And one group got to actually design the plants themselves.
So that's the interactive part.
That's the interactive part.
Okay.
And they got feedback from Herman the Bug, who's this animated agent who gives them guidance.
Like a little virtual plant coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what about the other group?
The other group got the same information, but just through direct instruction.
So no interactive design element.
No interactive design and no Herman the Bug.
All right, so who learned more?
Well, the students who actively designed the plans with Herman's guidance, they scored significantly higher on problem-solving tasks.
So they could actually apply what they learned?
Yeah, to new situations, not just regurgitate facts.
Interesting.
They also found the learning experience more engaging, more fun.
Well, that's always a plus.
Yeah, for sure.
So it seems like active participation with guidance is a winning combo.
Definitely. It's not just about being active. It's about having the right kind of support.
All right, what about principle number 2?
Principle number 2 is the reflection principle.
Reflection, okay.
And this one emphasizes that just being active isn't always enough.
You have to think about what you're doing.
Exactly. The main idea here is that students learn better when they're prompted to think about why correct answers are correct.
So not just getting the right answer, but understanding the reasoning behind it.
Exactly. It's about deeper processing.
Okay.
And the idea is that this kind of reflection helps you organize the new information in your mind and connect it to what you already know, leading to a stronger understanding.
So did their research support this?
Yeah, they did this follow-up study with that Design a Plant program.
Okay.
And they looked at groups who were designing plants and those who weren't.
Oh.
And within each of those groups, they divided them further into those who were asked to reflect on the reasons behind the correct plant designs.
Okay.
And those who weren't.
So like, why did you choose this kind of root system?
Exactly. Or in the non-interactive group, they would reflect on the example plant designs.
Okay, so what did they find?
This is interesting. They found that reflection in the form of explaining why a design or answer was correct really boosted learning for the students who weren't actively designing the plants.
Oh.
But for those who were already designing plants, the extra reflection prompt didn't make a significant difference.
So if the activity itself is already making you think actively, you might not need as much prompting for reflection.
That's one way to interpret it.
Okay.
They also found that reflection is most effective when you're reflecting on correct examples or models.
Makes sense. You don't want to reinforce bad ideas.
Exactly.
And in another study on environmental science, they found that just having students organize steps in a process wasn't enough. They needed to reflect on the final product to see improvements in problem solving.
Interesting. So it's not just about reflection in general.
Right. It's about the type of activity and the focus of the reflection.
It's got to be targeted.
Exactly.
Okay, so principle number 3.
Principle number 3 is all about feedback. Feedback. Everyone loves feedback, right?
Yeah, we all need it.
So what's this principle about?
It digs into what kind of feedback is most effective, especially for beginners, for novices.
Right.
The key takeaway is that novices learn better with feedback that explains why an answer is right or wrong.
Makes sense. Just knowing you got something wrong doesn't tell you how to fix it.
Exactly.
You need to know why.
Yeah, that's what explanatory feedback provides.
Yeah.
It gives you the reasoning, the principles behind the correct answer.
Gotcha.
And that helps you correct misunderstandings and build a better mental model.
So you're not just guessing.
Nope. You're getting specific guidance on how to improve.
So they've got some research on this, right?
Oh, yeah. They did 4 different experimental studies
Oh, wow.
across different ages and subjects.
Okay.
One study was with elementary school students learning basic addition and subtraction.
Right.
And they found that explanatory feedback, which in this case connected the math problems to movements on a number line, led to greater improvement on tougher problems, faster learning overall, and fewer conceptual errors.
Compared to just getting right-wrong feedback.
Exactly.
Seeing that visual representation.
Yeah, the number line really helped them connect the concepts.
Interesting.
And another study even broke down that explanatory feedback further into the verbal explanation and the number line animation itself.
Yep.
And the group getting both the full explanatory feedback still performed better.
So both parts were important.
Yeah, they work together.
And what about the designy plant studies? Did those support this too?
Absolutely. In those studies, the students who got detailed explanations about why their plant designs were good or bad showed better transfer of knowledge.
So they could apply it to new plants and environments.
Exactly. They also felt the program was more helpful and easier to use.
And they had fewer misconceptions.
Yeah, their understanding was more accurate.
So pretty big differences.
Yeah, pretty significant.
It really highlights that understanding the why behind the answers is crucial.
Especially when you're first learning something.
Okay, I'm ready for principle number 4.
Principle number 4 is all about learner control.
Learner control, I like the sound of that.
It's a good one. It's called the pacing principle.
Pacing, right?
The main idea is that students learn better when they can control how fast the information is presented.
Okay.
Especially when it's complex stuff like visuals and animations.
That makes sense. If it's coming at you too fast, you can't really process it.
Exactly. You need time to digest.
So learner control lets you take your time.
Yeah, and process things properly.
And the thinking behind this is that it reduces the strain on your working memory.
Right, by letting you process information in smaller chunks.
Before moving on.
Exactly. You're not trying to juggle too much at once.
So what kind of research do they have to back this up?
Well, a classic study by Mayer and Chandler in 2001.
Okay.
They looked at an animation that explained how lightning forms.
Right.
And they found that students who could control the pace of the animation...
By pausing it or whatever.
Yeah, they had a continue button they could click after each segment.
Okay.
They showed much better transfer of learning than those who just watched the whole thing straight through.
So breaking it down helped.
It did, and other research has shown similar benefits. When learners can control the pace and even the order of animations that explain things like how electric motors work.
And this isn't just for technical stuff, right?
Nope. Marino's research in 2006 looked at videos and animations used in teacher training and found that when students could control the pace, they had better retention and could apply what they learned better.
So it helps in education, too.
It does, and they also perceive the material as less difficult.
Oh, that's interesting.
And even for something like learning nautical knots from videos, learner-controlled pacing led to faster skill development.
So it's a pretty versatile principle.
Yeah, it applies across a wide range of learning situations.
All right, so just adding a pause button or letting learners go at their own speed can make a big difference.
Yeah, especially with complex information.
All right, principle number 5, bring it on.
Principle number 5 is the pre-training principle.
Pre-training, okay.
The big idea here is that students learn better when they get some initial instruction or information that activates their relevant background knowledge before they jump into the main learning material.
So it's like laying the groundwork.
Yeah, giving them a head start.
Right.
The thinking is that by activating prior knowledge, pre-training helps learners connect the new information to what they already know.
Which makes it easier to understand.
Exactly. It's like building a bridge between the known and the unknown.
So what kind of pre-training are we talking about?
Well, it could be something as simple as defining key terms, illustrating basic concepts, or reminding them of related stuff they might already know.
All right.
The study they highlight used a game where students had to identify geological formations on a map. And they found that the students who got pre-training with pictures of the different formations, they made fewer errors during the game.
So they could actually recognize the formation.
Yeah, they knew what they were looking for.
Makes sense.
And they were better at applying their knowledge later on.
So the pre-training really paid off.
It did. It helped them build that foundation.
All right, so these 5 principles, guided activity, reflection, feedback, pacing, and pre-training.
Yep, those are the big ones.
They give us a really solid framework for designing good learning experiences.
They do, but the authors really stress that it's not just about throwing in interactive elements or lots of visual.
Right, just because it's flashy doesn't mean it's effective.
It's the thoughtful application of these cognitive principles that makes the difference.
Yeah, it's about how those interactive elements and visuals are structured to guide our thinking encourage reflection, provide feedback, and all that good stuff.
Exactly, and to connect new information to what we already know.
Right, so these principles really bring that into focus.
They do. They give us a roadmap for designing for how our brains actually learn.
So what about future research? Where do they see this field going?
Well, with technology evolving so fast and more interactive and visual elements and learning tools,
Right.
they see a big need for continued research.
Oh.
One area they highlight is games and simulations.
Those are becoming really popular.
They are, and they can be super motivating and engaging.
Yeah.
But we need to understand how to design them in ways that align with these learning principles.
Right. Make sure the game aspects are actually helping people learn.
Exactly, not just being a distraction.
So what other future directions did they mention?
Well, pedagogical agents.
Those virtual characters.
Yeah, those are another key area.
Okay.
We still need to learn a lot about what features of those agents actually help or hinder learning.
Like how they look, how they talk.
Yeah, and the instructional strategies they use.
Interesting.
They even mentioned some research suggesting that learning can be less effective when students choose an agent of the same ethnicity as themselves.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, which is kind of counterintuitive.
It is. You'd think you'd connect more with someone who's similar to you.
You would, but it shows how complex this stuff is.
Definitely. So what else did they talk about?
Another area is interactivity in digital libraries.
Okay.
With so much information available online, learners need good tools and guidance to navigate all that and actually learn from it.
Yeah, just having access to a ton of information doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Exactly. So research needs to focus on how interactive features, especially for searching and exploring, can be designed to support real learning.
And then there's case-based learning.
Yeah, which uses real-world scenarios to teach concepts.
Like those business school case studies.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they see a lot of potential for that in interactive video formats.
Interesting.
But we need to understand how students learn from these cases and what kinds of interactive elements are most effective.
So there's a lot of research to be done.
There is a lot of exciting possibilities.
And finally, they mentioned embedded authentic assessment.
Right, which is using simulations of real-world tasks to evaluate student learning.
Okay.
So instead of just multiple choice tests,
You're actually doing something.
yeah, like performing a task in a simulated environment.
But that can get complex.
It can. It often involves a lot of interaction and requires careful guidance from teachers.
So more research is needed to figure out best practices.
Definitely. There's a lot of potential, but we're still figuring it out.
So it sounds like there's a lot we've learned about designing good, interactive, multimodal learning environments.
There is.
But there's still tons of interesting questions to explore.
Yeah, as technology keeps advancing.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this?
I think the core message is that interactivity and multimodality, they offer incredible potential for learning.
Yeah.
But their effectiveness depends on thoughtful design.
Right, you can't just throw them in there and expect magic to happen.
Exactly. It has to be rooted in how our brains actually work.
So those 5 design principles are really key.
They are guided activity, reflection on correct answers, explanatory feedback, learner control over pacing, and pre-training.
It's a good checklist for anyone involved in learning or teaching.
Yeah, whether you're designing a course, giving a presentation, or just trying to explain something to someone.
This has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
Now, for you, the listener, think about this.
Okay.
What are some learning experiences in your own life that were particularly effective? Or maybe not so effective?
Right.
Can you identify any design elements that might have contributed to those outcomes?
Yeah, that's a good exercise.
It is, to think critically about the learning environments we encounter.
And the ones we create.
Exactly.
Because as learning technologies keep evolving, understanding these cognitive principles is going to be crucial for creating truly effective educational practices.
And making sure these powerful tools are used in ways that really help people learn.
Exactly, and foster a love of learning.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.